Have you ever felt like you could see something brewing beneath the surface, something others completely missed? Maybe it was that friend who seemed perfect but left you feeling uneasy. Perhaps it was a job opportunity that looked golden but stirred something unsettled in your spirit. Or maybe it was those moments when everyone else celebrated while you quietly sensed danger ahead. You tried to explain it, but your words fell flat. They saw sunshine while you noticed storm clouds gathering. They heard promises while you detected hollow echoes. And suddenly you wondered if something was wrong with your vision, if maybe you were being too cautious, too suspicious, too careful. But what if I told you that unsettled feeling wasn't paranoia? What if that quiet knowing wasn't fear but a gift? You thought you were seeing problems where none existed, but maybe you weren't seeing too much. Maybe you were finally seeing clearly. There's a battle happening right now that most people never recognize. It's not fought with weapons or words. It's fought in the space between what appears to be true and what actually is. It's the hidden battle of discernment. And if you've been feeling like you're fighting this battle alone, like you're the only one who notices what others seem to miss, then this message was written for your heart. You know that feeling when everyone else is rushing toward something and you feel called to pause. When the crowd is cheering and you're quietly listening for something deeper. That tension in your chest when you can't quite put your finger on why something feels off. But every instinct is telling you to pay attention. You've learned to trust that inner compass even when it points in a different direction than everyone else's. Even when it makes you feel isolated. Even when it makes others question your judgment. The truth is, discernment often feels lonely because it requires you to see beyond the surface while everyone else is content with appearances. It asks you to look deeper when shallow feels safer. It demands patience when urgency seems logical. And sometimes it calls you to speak truth when silence would be easier. Would you still trust that inner knowing if it meant standing apart from the crowd? Would you still honor what your spirit recognizes even when your mind can't fully explain it? Because here's what I've discovered about this gift of seeing. Clearly, it's not given to make your life easier. It's given to make your purpose clearer. Sometimes that unsettled feeling you get around certain people isn't judgment, it's protection. Your spirit is recognizing something your eyes haven't caught yet. Maybe it's sensing the difference between someone who talks about character and someone who actually lives it. Maybe it's noticing the gap between what someone promises and what they consistently deliver. Or perhaps it's recognizing the difference between genuine humility and performed modesty. This isn't about becoming suspicious of everyone or living in fear of deception. It's about understanding that wisdom often whispers while foolishness shouts. Truth often appears quietly while lies announce themselves with fanfare. And authentic connection often develops slowly while manipulation moves quickly. Maybe that's why you felt different. Why you've noticed things others missed. Why you've hesitated when others rushed forward. Maybe your spirit has been trained to recognize what your natural eyes could never see. The difference between genuine love and skillful performance. The gap between sincere apology and strategic manipulation. The distinction between someone who supports your growth and someone who subtly undermines your confidence. Our minds crave quick answers and obvious signs. We want discernment to feel dramatic, like lightning bolts of clarity that make everything obvious. But real discernment often feels more like dawn slowly breaking. It's gradual. It's gentle. It's that quiet knowing that grows stronger over time rather than hitting you all at once. It's the peace that settles in your chest when you finally trust what you've been sensing all along. Sometimes the most profound truth isn't what someone says to you directly. It's what you notice in the silence between their words. It's not just the promises they make, but the pattern of how they handle small commitments. It's not just how they treat you when they need something, but how they respond when you need something from them. You've been learning to read between the lines, to notice what people do when they think no one is watching, to pay attention to how your peace feels in their presence. And maybe you've discovered that the most important conversations aren't always spoken out loud. Sometimes they're happening in the space between what's said and what's meant, between what's promised and what's delivered, between who someone appears to be and who they consistently show themselves to be. This gift of seeing clearly isn't meant to make you cynical or suspicious. It's meant to help you recognize what's worth protecting in your life, to help you distinguish between relationships that drain your peace and connections that strengthen your spirit, to help you notice the difference between opportunities that align with your purpose and distractions dressed up as blessings. Maybe it was never about finding fault in others. Maybe it was about learning to honor the wisdom that lives quietly within you, learning to trust that inner voice that speaks in feelings rather than words, that communicates through peace or unease rather than clear explanations. Learning to recognize that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is maintain healthy boundaries, even when others don't understand them. Maybe that uncomfortable feeling you get isn't your problem to solve. Maybe it's your protection to honor. Maybe that hesitation you feel isn't fear holding you back. Maybe it's wisdom asking you to wait and watch a little longer before moving forward. You've been carrying this gift longer than you realize. Maybe it started when you were younger, sensing tension in a room that everyone else insisted was peaceful, or noticing when someone's smile didn't reach their eyes while others praised their warmth. You learned early that seeing clearly sometimes meant seeing what others couldn't or wouldn't acknowledge. And perhaps that's when the real battle began. Not the battle of what to see, but the battle of what to do with what you see. Because discernment without wisdom can become judgment. Vision without compassion can turn into isolation. And the ability to see beneath surfaces can either become a bridge to deeper connection or a wall that keeps authentic relationship at arm's length. Maybe you've wrestled with this tension, the delicate balance between honoring what your spirit recognizes and maintaining love for those who don't see what you see, between protecting your peace and remaining open to genuine connection, between trusting your inner knowing and staying humble enough to admit when you might be wrong. There's something sacred about this struggle, something holy about learning to carry spiritual insight with gentleness rather than superiority. Because the goal was never to become the person who sees everyone's flaws or predicts every disappointment. The goal was to become someone who can discern truth while still choosing love, someone who can recognize red flags while still believing in redemption, someone who can protect their own heart while keeping it open to heaven's surprises. Maybe that's why this gift often comes wrapped in loneliness, because it requires a level of spiritual maturity that doesn't develop overnight. It asks you to hold tension without demanding immediate resolution, to see clearly without becoming cynical, to trust deeply while remaining discerning. And that kind of balance can only be learned through experience, through seasons of getting it wrong before you learn to get it right. You know what it feels like to sense something stirring in your spirit during a conversation, something that doesn't match the words being spoken. Maybe it's recognizing when someone is performing rather than connecting, or noticing when enthusiasm feels forced rather than genuine, or sensing when someone's questions are designed to gather information rather than build relationship. This isn't about becoming suspicious or guarded. It's about learning to honor the wisdom that whispers while noise shouts for attention. It's about recognizing that sometimes the most important information comes not through what people say, but through what they consistently do when they think no one is paying attention. Your discernment isn't a burden to carry alone. It's a sacred gift meant to guide you toward truth, protect what matters most, and help you build connections that honor both wisdom and love. Trust that quiet knowing within you. It's been preparing you for something beautiful all along. If this message found you at just the right moment, write Amen below and share it with someone who needs to hear they're not alone in seeing clearly.